Heartwarming moment, billionaire CEO's hidden message revealed by incredible black kitchen helper. Marcus woke up to the faint glow of the morning sun creeping through the cracks of his darkened apartment in Chicago. The reminders of late-night worries cluttered his mind, but they faded as he caught sight of his daughter, Sophia, still asleep on the small sofa, her dreams blooming wide in the simplest of surroundings. She wanted to be a doctor one day. This thought pressed against his heart like a gentle weight, filling him with hope. He wanted more for them both, even as challenges stacked up around them like the dishes piling in the sink. As the aroma of coffee filled the air, Marcus prepared for another day of grinding, knowing that somehow, every penny earned might inch them closer to a better life. He hurried through the morning routine, a mix of breakfast and upbeat chatter, the sound of laughter blanketing their cramped space. There was an akin spirit in that small apartment, a resilient hope that never seemed to fade, no matter how dark the clouds outside grew. The restaurant buzzed with excitement as Marcus hustled about, the tension of a lavish gala dinner looming large in the air. The kitchen was alive with cooks and servers buzzing like bees at the height of summer, but the chatter faded to whispers when billionaire CEO Reggie Cole stepped into the building, a true titan of industry, known more for his wealth than for the compassion that was expected of someone in his position. As Marcus rinsed fillets at the prep station, he couldn't help but overhear mutterings that cut deep. The disdain for folks from neighborhoods like his, people who worked twice as hard with far fewer rewards, left him feeling sick to his stomach. But amidst the pressure, chaos arose. The skies darkened as thunder roared, hurling rain against the windows, and panic flared up like a campfire on a windy night. Yet, the staff rallied together, reminding one another that they had family waiting at home, that they worked together for dignity and hope. Laughter erupted, connecting their spirits, spilling over the anxiety like blessed tonic. When Reggie Cole finally walked in, his air of privilege caught in stark contrast to the hardship that surrounded him. He dismissed everyone with a wave, treating the hard-working crew like they were no more than cogs in his grand machine. That moment weighed heavy on Marcus's shoulders, a hot fire igniting his indignation. Mustering every ounce of courage, he approached Reggie. "Merit isn't just about money, it's about the sweat and sacrifice we put in every day," he said, his voice steady despite quaking uncertainty. The tension charged the air like static. Conversation stalled as others nodded in silent solidarity, bravery bubbling to the surface. Moments of vulnerability spilled over, and the heartfelt stories shared became a tapestry of struggle and hope. But it was a young waitress, flushed with nerves, who brazenly offered Reggie a plate of the kitchen's finest dessert, a glimmer of spirit and pride in her eyes that shone brighter than any diamond. Suddenly, something flickered within the billionaire. It was a moment of real connection, one that took him off guard. But before they could delve deeper, a wave of internal conflict washed over both men, the essence of their lives playing out in stark analogies, futures hanging in the balance. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As the night wore on, the restaurant pulsed with a sense of potential. Would Reggie let Marcus's tenacity spark a change in him? Would Marcus finally receive recognition for the years of silent struggles, his battle not just for himself but for the little girl waiting at home? The heart of the evening hung on these questions, its resolve as stormy and unpredictable as the weather outside. The rain pounded against the windows like a drummer with no intention of stopping, setting the perfect backdrop for the tension in the restaurant. Marcus still felt the electricity in the air from his confrontation with Reggie. It was as if the chaos outside mirrored the turmoil shifting inside him. Could one moment of courage truly change anything? Was small, empathetic gestures enough to crack the shell of a man whose life had been untouched by struggle? Through the rhythmic clatter of pans and the sizzling of food, Marcus stole glances at Reggie, who stood by the bar, an untouched glass of wine in his hand. The billionaire's expression wavered between discomfort and contemplation, revealing a hint of vulnerability beneath his polished exterior. Marcus's heart raced as he watched the man, this titan of industry, appearing so small within the expansive emptiness around him. As servers bustled, Marcus fell into an easy flow, his instincts as sharp as the knives he wielded. A quick smile here, an encouraging word there. Despite his own doubts, Marcus poured the warmth of his spirit into every dish, as if each plate was a conduit of his resolve, each garnish a reminder that artistry could thrive even in adversity. But just as hope glimmered brightly, an unexpected commotion erupted at the entrance. A group of rowdy patrons burst in, laughter and raucous voices breaking through the ambience like thunder. They were the epitome of privilege, loud, brash, and completely unaware of the hard work happening in the back of the kitchen. The room's atmosphere shifted, tainted by their entitlement. Reggie's gaze snapped to the group, his expression revealing a flicker of disdain. For a moment, Marcus thought he saw a reflection of his own frustration. Could this be the opportunity to reinforce his earlier words? To challenge not only Reggie, but the culture that enabled this disregard for those who struggled daily? Before he could overthink it, Marcus found himself striding toward the bar, his heart pounding with determination. "Hey Reggie," he called out, his voice steady but edged with urgency, "do you want to see what real passion looks like?" Reggie turned, surprised. A waitress nearby stopped pouring drinks, her eyes wide with anticipation. The boisterous group inched closer, caught off guard. They didn't expect someone like Marcus to interrupt a billionaire's moment. Marcus gripped the edge of the bar, feeling the cool wood beneath his fingers. "You may have the world at your fingertips, but out there," he gestured to the kitchen, "the heart of this place beats 10 times harder. We live for each plate we serve, for the families we support. It's a different kind of currency, one that can't be bought." The restaurant fell eerily silent, the only sound the soft patter of rain against the glass and the heavy breaths held in anticipation. Reggie blinked, finally taking a step back from the bar, his composure slipping just a fraction. What was he thinking? Was he being challenged? For the first time, Marcus caught a glimpse of something else in Reggie's eyes. Was it admiration, or was it fear of this newfound boldness? Suddenly, the young waitress returned to Marcus's side, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. "Let him see what we're proud of," she added, her determination matching that of the man beside her, and just like that, the room ignited with expectation. Would Reggie stand back and let the scene unfold? Was this the moment when a billionaire could finally see through a lens of empathy? Marcus waited, stomach churning, wondering if this bold moment would bolster his dreams or send him spiraling back into forgotten obscurity. The weight of the room sat on his shoulders, shifting the air like the brewing storm outside. The question lingered, filled with potent possibility: would this spark a change, or would they remain trapped in the shadows? As the seconds stretched into eternity, Reggie's expression softened. What would he choose? Would the past repeat itself, or was a new chapter about to begin? There was a stillness in the air, electric and charged. Marcus felt every eye in the restaurant focused on him and Reggie, as if the world outside could collapse, and they would stay rooted in this defining moment. He steadied his breath, trying to ignore the thump of his heart, which was practically screaming in his chest. If Reggie didn't act, would it mean all this was for nothing? Reggie's gaze darted toward the group of raucous patrons, their laughter now a dull roar overshadowing the careful symphony of dishes and silverware. Marcus could see the thoughts wrestling in Reggie's mind. Would he lean into the familiar cocoon of privilege or take a step toward something more profound? A waitress next to him nodded, urging him silently. Marcus caught her encouraging smile, a reminder that they were all in this together. "Please, just listen," he murmured under his breath, though he knew Reggie could hear every word. "Maybe you could join us in the kitchen?" Marcus suggested finally, a burst of adrenaline pushing him forward. "See firsthand what it takes to create the joy we serve." Reggie's brow furrowed, his eyes clouding as if the weight of expectation pressed on him. But something flickered behind those walls of wealth and success, a glimmer of possibility. With a slight nod, Reggie took a step closer, whose skepticism was slowly melting into cautious curiosity. "All right," he said, his voice barely above a whisper, but it carried a world of weight. "Show me." As they moved through the bustling dining room, the atmosphere shifted again, this time with whispers rising in a crescendo of disbelief and intrigue. The patrons no longer laughed but began to murmur among themselves, the spectacle of a billionaire breaking the norm hanging in the air. Once in the kitchen, Marcus could feel the pulse of his team. The familiar clattering of pans, the steady rhythm of chopping, took over the space, drowning everything else out. He gestured towards the stoves and the chefs who moved with grace, expertly painting their culinary canvas. "This is where the magic happens," he said, pride filling his voice. "Every dish tells a story, each ingredient chosen with care." Reggie stayed silent, absorbing the energy, the heat, the fervor like he had just stepped into a different world. The sizzle of garlic and onions filled the air. A chef tossed a pan, flames licking up in defiance, sending a fresh wave of aromas that danced around them. Marcus could sense Reggie's intrigue intensifying. "Do you know why this kitchen works?" Marcus asked, looking directly into Reggie's eyes. "It's not about the money. It's about passion and connection. About people believing in one another." He watched as Reggie's expression shifted, the once impenetrable guard wavering ever so slightly. "There's more here than just food," added the waitress, joining the conversation. "It's about creating a community, a family." The reality of the moment hung heavy in the air, potent and profound. As Marcus observed Reggie engaging with the chefs, asking questions, learning their stories, he felt a swell of hope. Perhaps, just perhaps, the gaping divide between their worlds could bridge itself through understanding. But as the rain fell harder outside, Marcus wondered what the consequences would be should that divide close. Would Reggie turn back to the privilege of his lifestyle or lean into this newfound empathy? Would his change be enough to ripple out, or would he retreat? The clock was ticking, the air thick with anticipation. What came next could redefine everything that in that moment, with a kitchen alive with urgency, they awaited the revelation of Reggie's next move. Would he inspire change, or would he slip back into the comforts of his previous life? Reggie stood frozen, as if the whirlwind of sights and sounds had swept him into another dimension where nothing felt familiar. He watched a chef toss a vibrant, glistening sauté of vegetables into a bowl, the colors bursting with life. It was as if he were staring at the emotions painted on a canvas, each hue telling its own story. The laughter and chatter from the dining room faded into the background, replaced by the lively symphony of the kitchen. "Everything has its place," a voice chimed in, breaking his reverie. It was Maya, the head chef, her hands busy orchestrating a culinary ballet. "In here, we're not just co-workers. We're family." Her smile was genuine, radiant, and held an invitation that wrapped around Reggie like a warm hug. Family. The word reverberated in his mind, a stark contrast to what he usually understood it to mean. Growing up, he had everything, a big house, plenty of cars, and a life arranged like fine china, perfect but cold. Here, amidst the chaos of pots and pans, he felt the spark of something much deeper. Reggie took a step forward, crossing the threshold from observer to participant. "What can I do?" he blurted out, surprising even himself with the eagerness in his voice. Maya raised an eyebrow, a flicker of amusement crossing her face. "You want to help? Grab that knife," she gestured to a knife block, "and start chopping those onions. We'll teach you how it's done." As he picked up the knife, a flutter of anxiety surged through him. "You know, I've never exactly." "You've never." "But there's a first time for everything," she replied, her voice firm but encouraging. With shaky hands, Reggie began to chop, the scent of onions flooding his senses. The others continued working around him, glancing his way with barely concealed smiles. Each slice released a feeling of vulnerability, a detachment from his previous life and circumstance. Yet with each cut, the weight of expectation began to lift, and for the first time, Reggie felt a taste of freedom. "See, it's not so bad, is it?" Maya teased lightly. "Just remember, cooking is about letting go. Enjoy the process." Through chuckles and playful banter, Reggie began to find a rhythm. His heart raced, not from fear but exhilaration. Here was a place where he could be real, stripped of pretense. For the first time, he didn't have to think about numbers or stocks. Then he noticed a young server leaning against the doorway, eyes wide, observing everything with a mixture of disbelief and excitement. "You're really doing this?" she said, her voice picking up a hopeful lilt. "This could change everything, you know." Reggie paused, wiping sweat from his brow, as her words sank in. The implications of his actions swirled around him. Yes, he had the power to influence change, but how far would he go once he left the kitchen? For years, he'd lived in a world that measured success in dollars, but now, everything felt different. Meaningful. Maya caught his eye, a knowing look passing between them. "Let us make a dish together, Reggie," she said, her smile warm. "One that tells a story." "Your story." A flood of emotions poured through him. Reggie felt raw and vulnerable. "What if they don't like it?" he asked quietly, the fear creeping back in. "Then we try again." Maya's resolve was unwavering, each word a rope lashing him further to the present. "This is about more than perfection. It's about connection. You're safe here, you can be you." As they began to create together, the camaraderie in the kitchen wrapped around him like a blanket. Suddenly, it all clicked. If he could embrace this moment, perhaps he could start carving a path toward real change. But as hope blossomed in his heart, an unsettling thought nagged at him. Could he maintain this newfound spirit when he returned to his world of polished suits and board meetings? And then, all at once, the sound of a breaking plate shattered his moment of clarity, sending everyone into a flurry. In the chaos, Reggie turned to see the server from before, her cheeks flushed with embarrassment as she quickly cleaned up. Everything was about to spiral out. Would Reggie find the courage to push beyond this pivotal moment, or would he retreat to the safety of his old life? The kitchen hummed with urgency, but amidst the chaos, questions loomed larger than ever. How would he choose to shape the future ahead? Reggie's heart racing, he turned his attention back to the bustling kitchen. The sudden interruption jolted him out of his introspection. Maya was barking orders at her team, efficiently redirecting their energy into a synchronized dance of cuts and sizzling pans. "Focus on what you're doing," she called, not unkindly, but with a determination that echoed the pulse of the kitchen. Reggie nodded, forcing himself to concentrate back on the onions. He resumed chopping, feeling more determined than scared. Each slice felt like a release, like he was slicing away layers of his old self. Nearby, the young server who had watched him earlier, her name was Lila, was still trying to gather the remnants of the shattered plate. Her hands trembled slightly, and her face radiated embarrassment. Without thinking, Reggie stepped away from the cutting board and approached her. "Hey, it happens," he said, the words tumbling out before he processed them. "Let me help." Lila looked up, surprise flickering across her features. "You sure?" "I don't want you to get in trouble, it's fine," he replied, offering her a reassuring smile. "We're all learning." He crouched beside her, carefully picking up the larger shards of ceramic, avoiding the jagged edges while Lila collected the smaller fragments. "You really mean it? You want to help me?" she asked, confusion etched in her voice. It felt foreign to her, maybe even impossible, to have someone genuinely willing to assist. Of course. No one should feel alone in a kitchen this lively. He could feel his own nervousness washing away. As they gathered the pieces, his heart swelled with an unexpected warmth. It was in this little moment that he understood the power of connection. Every smile shared over the task felt like building a bridge between them. "You've got a tough job, don't you?" he asked, glancing up at her. "Yeah," Lila chuckled, with a hint of vulnerability. "But it's worth it. Especially when the food we serve makes people happy." He paused, absorbing her words. "That's what it's about, right? Changing lives, one dish at a time." Lila's smile widened, and Reggie felt an echo of validation ripple through him. This wasn't just about cooking, it was about community, about forming bonds that defied his past understanding of family. As they finished cleaning up, the kitchen fell into a rhythm again. Maya called names, and laughter erupted here and there, punctuating the air like spice. Reggie turned back to the counter, feeling lighter. Now, let us make something special. Maya chimed, rallying everyone. Reggie raised his chin, ready for the challenge. They would create a dish that told his story, reflecting his journey from the coldness of wealth to the warmth of connection, but the energy in the room shifted abruptly as a tall, imposing figure entered the kitchen. It was the restaurant owner, a man known for his hard demeanor and sharp critiques. Reggie's stomach tightened at the sight of him. "What is going on here?" the owner demanded, scanning the room with a hawkish glare. "Are we producing food or just playing around? I don't see production happening." The kitchen tensed, a collective holding of breath as they awaited the verdict. Reggie felt his instincts flare up, uncertainty mingling with the boldness he had begun to embrace. In that moment, could he stand up for what he believed? Could he push back against doubt and criticism, not just for himself, but for everyone around him who had just begun to feel like family? As the weight of the owner's gaze bore down upon him, Reggie felt an undeniable surge of determination. Would he speak out? Would he affirm the new path he was daring to take? The kitchen was electric with anticipation, and Reggie knew that his next words could change everything. Reggie could feel the murmur of tension ripple through the kitchen as every eye turned to him. It was both exhilarating and terrifying. For a moment, he forgot everything: the knives, the sizzling pans, even the young server sitting quietly off to the side. The world outside faded, and all he could hear was the thumping of his heart. Taking a breath, he stepped forward, shoulders squared. "We're not just playing around," he began, his voice steady despite the storm of emotions inside him. "We're trying to create something real, something that matters. Cooking is an art, it's about connection and passion." The owner's brow furrowed, surprised by the unexpected boldness. The lineup of team members seemed to straighten, emboldened by Reggie's words. A tentative camaraderie blossomed as others nodded along with his sentiment. "That sounds nice, kid, but nice doesn't pay the bills," the owner shot back, crossing his arms tightly over his chest, his expression hardened like an iron pot. "We've got deadlines. We need food on the tables, or we're out of business." Reggie felt the tension take hold again, but he couldn't back down now. "But if we rush everything, we'll lose what makes this place special. It's not just about getting plates out, it's about feeding people with joy, with love." He didn't know where that last word came from, but it ignited something within him. "What do you know about love?" the owner scoffed, glancing at Lila and then back at Reggie. The challenge hung in the air like an unappetizing smell, waiting for someone to act. "I know enough," Reggie shot back, surprising himself. "I've been in a world where everything was about status and success, but I realized it didn't mean anything if it didn't come with genuine connection. That's what I'm learning here." The murmurs in the kitchen grew louder, small gasps, soft yes, and that's right. Maya, standing near the stove, stepped forward. "Yes, right. It's not just anyone in this kitchen. It's a team, a family. We rely on each other to elevate the food and our spirits. That's how we create something incredible." The owner's expression softened slightly, though it was almost imperceptible. Maybe they weren't just faces in the crowd to him anymore. "Okay, let us say you're right," the owner said, his tone begrudgingly accepting. "But show me you can balance passion with productivity." "Just give us time," Reggie urged, feeling the eyes of his co-workers burning with hope. "Let us cook like we mean it. We can show you what this kitchen is capable of when we trust each other." Time hung thick in the air. Would the owner relent? Finally, he let out a long sigh, the tension easing just a fraction. "Fine, but no more of this touchy-feely nonsense. We need results." Reggie nodded, heart hammering in his chest. "You'll see." With the owner stepping back, the kitchen felt like it had exhaled. Lila shot Reggie a grateful smile, and he felt a wave of relief wash over him. The shared moment helped tether him a little closer to this vibrant kitchen family. "Let us get to work." Maya called, and the energy shifted back, tenfold. Reggie returned to the counter. He grabbed a knife and began slicing vegetables purposefully, fueled by the support surrounding him. Together, they began tossing ingredients with enthusiasm, laughter returning once again to the kitchen space. But Reggie's mind wandered as he cut, wondering if they'd really turned a corner with the owner. And even more unsettling, he couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the beginning of something much bigger, something that would test the very bonds they were forging. What lay ahead? What challenges awaited them next? In the back of his mind, a nagging thought crept in: could they truly transform not just the dishes, but their lives as well? The air buzzed with fresh energy, but also uncertainty, the next test lurking just beyond the horizon. The kitchen hummed with activity as Reggie and his team fell into a rhythm. The sharp aroma of garlic and herbs filled the air, mingling with sizzling sounds that seemed to dance around them. They were no longer just co-workers, they were a unit. Each chop of the knife, every stir of the pot echoed their commitment to the food and each other. Lila, moving in sync with Reggie at the prep station, caught his eye. "I think we can do this," she said, her voice barely above the clatter. "We just need to stay focused." Together, Reggie replied, feeling an electric charge of determination. Meanwhile, Maya had taken charge at the grill, her fiery spirit igniting the others around her. They began brainstorming tweaks to the menu, adding personal touches inspired by their own stories. "What if we had a special dish to honor our roots?" Maya suggested, flipping steaks with a flourish. The kitchen erupted with ideas: traditional spices, childhood favorites, everything fueling the creative fire. It felt contagious, breaking down the barriers they never knew existed. This wasn't just about food anymore, it was about legacy, identity, passion. Amidst the commotion, the owner's presence loomed like a specter. He mingled around the kitchen, watching closely, arms crossed and lips pressed into a thin line. There was a new tension in the air, the team could feel it. Would their efforts impress him, or would he dismiss all their hard work as just another day in the grind? Reggie tried not to let it distract him. He found himself lost in the joy of collaboration. It fueled him. Then, Maya threw out a challenge. "Let us make a dish that reflects all of us." A melting pot on a plate. Intrigued, everyone brainstormed. They flung ideas back and forth, each suggestion pushing them closer to something truly authentic. But deep down, Reggie felt a tug of worry. Sure, passion had brought them together, but would it be enough to convince the owner? "Okay, everyone. Let us get our creative juices flowing." He clapped his hands, drawing everyone's attention. "We need to work hard and make this special. Let us show him our love for what we do." The energy surged, more intense than ever, but doubt weighed on Reggie's chest. Would the owner value their heart, or would he only see their faults? Just then, the owner stepped forward, breaking into their circle. "I've been watching, and I have to admit, I'm impressed by the energy here." There was a pause. The kitchen fell silent. "But you must remember, I won't settle for anything less than perfect. Show me." As he turned away, his command lingered in the air, sparking newfound urgency. Reggie's heart raced again, a storm of emotions swirling inside him. The weight of expectation was heavy. He felt the team's eyes on him, silently demanding reassurance. "Let us make this count," he yelled, his voice ringing through the kitchen. They rallied with renewed vigor, their spirits intertwining, ready to take on the challenge. Hours passed, and they worked tirelessly, pouring themselves into each dish. The moment of truth approached. The owner stood across the line of finished plates, scrutinizing every detail. Reggie held his breath, feeling the weight of the moment. Would they finally transform their vision into something tangible? Would the owner embrace what they had created? As he watched the owner pick up one of their dishes with the air of an emperor preparing to declare judgment, Reggie felt something shift in the air, a blend of hope and fear brewing precariously. There was a stirring inside him. It felt like the stir before a storm, or a breakthrough. What would the owner think of their creation? Would it change everything for them? In a kitchen alive with promise, Reggie stood poised at the edge of destiny, ready to face whatever was coming next. The kitchen held its breath as the owner scrutinized their creation. All eyes drifted between him and the beautifully plated dish, gourmet elements colliding in a vibrant splash of color, a culinary representation of their diverse backgrounds and shared dreams. Reggie could feel his heart thump loudly in his chest, each beat echoing uncertainty. Time seemed to stretch as the owner brought the plate closer. He examined the layers, the drizzle of sauce, the perfectly cooked ingredients. A smile teased at the corner of his mouth, but Reggie couldn't read the man's expression. The stakes felt mammoth as the seconds ticked by. "What do you think?" Lila whispered, wiping her hands nervously on her apron, eyes shimmering with hope. "I don't know," Reggie murmured back, still focused on the owner. "I hope he sees the heart in it." Suddenly, the owner set the plate down. He turned to the team, a glimmer in his eyes. "I can see the effort you've put in. This is intriguing." Reggie felt a burst of energy, a flicker of hope igniting in the room, mingling with the simmering adrenaline. The team shared glances, silently cheering each other on. But the single word hung in the air, heavy and pregnant with tension. Everyone instinctively leaned forward. "You've missed one thing." A wave of dread washed over them. Reggie swallowed hard, bracing for criticism. "What is it?" Maya asked, desperation in her voice. "Depth," the owner replied, his tone deliberate. "This dish is personal, but it lacks a cohesive story. It needs a focal point." A collective sigh rose as they processed his words. Reggie felt a pang of disappointment mixed with understanding. "This is still salvageable," the owner continued. "Don't give up. Think about what binds you together. That's also what can make this dish special." "You're right," Reggie said, eyes widening with inspiration. "What if we tell our stories through our ingredients? Each of us can contribute something, a dish, a flavor, a memory." Lila's face brightened. "I can add my grandmother's spices from the old country. It's a family recipe that my mom always cherished." Maya grinned, flipping her hair. "Then I want to add a hint of the barbecue sauce my dad used to make us on summer nights." The energy in the kitchen reignited, each member brimming with ideas. "Let us do this," Reggie encouraged. "Let us paint our memories on the plate." The chatter filled the space again, voices blending together with excitement. Reggie felt the heat building as they ran to their stations, eager to infuse their identity into the creation. He felt lighter, the weight of doubt beginning to lift as they rallied around a common goal, storytelling through food. As they cooked, laughter mingled with the sizzling sounds, and Reggie felt warmth pulse through him. They were more than a kitchen team, they were a family now, connected by their pasts and their hunger for success. Just then, the owner returned, a thoughtful expression on his face. "Let me see your journey," he urged, eyes glimmering with anticipation. Reggie looked around at his team, their eyes wide with determination and excitement. He could almost feel the invisible thread of unity weaving tighter. "Let us show him who we are," Reggie said, voice steady. "Let us make it unforgettable." With renewed energy, they moved. But as they plunged back into the creative process, Reggie couldn't shake the feeling that this was only the beginning. The clock ticked louder, the pressure thickening the air, and as they delicately added the final touches to their dish, Reggie's heart raced again. What new heights would their collective story unlock? In the midst of it all, he suddenly wondered, would this dish not only impress the owner, but also forge a bond that could change everything for them? Reggie's hands flew across the cutting board, slicing through fresh vegetables with precision. The aromatic scents of garlic and herbs filled the air, intensifying his focus. Lila carefully mixed her grandmother's spices, a smile playing on her lips as memories of family gatherings rushed back to her. Maya was on the other side, carefully drizzling the barbecue sauce as if it were liquid gold. Each splash mirrored moments of laughter and love from her childhood. The rhythm of their teamwork buzzed with energy, a pulse of creativity that seemed to fill every crevice of the kitchen. Time was an enemy, but for Reggie, each second felt precious. He glanced at the clock, noting how the hands ticked closer to the deadline. He took a breath, centering himself. "Okay team, we've got this," he said, rallying their spirits. "Each layer of flavor is a piece of who we are. Let's make sure it shines through." "Right. And let's layer those flavors," Lila exclaimed, mixing a blend of her spices into the sauce. "We can add a touch of sweetness, just like my grandmother would." Maya tilted her head, an idea sparking in her mind. "What if we make a compote out of berries for brightness? Something unexpected that dances on the palate." Reggie's heart leapt. "Yes. That could be the bright note we need. We can present the berries on the side, just like the way some families serve their favorite side dishes at meals." With renewed excitement, the team moved in tandem. Reggie felt like conductor leading an orchestra, every member playing their part to create a beautiful symphony on the plate. Together, they cut, sautéed, and blended flavors, pouring their hearts into the dish. Outside the kitchen, the owner watched through the glass window. He observed the camaraderie, the laughter that erupted occasionally, and the pure joy that radiated from each of them. It was more than cooking, it was storytelling, a piece of their essence put into every bite. As they worked, the kitchen filled with an overwhelming scent of nostalgia and family. Reggie's heart soared. This was at the moment where their individual stories united to create something extraordinary. Finally, they assembled the plate, each element placed with intention. The vibrant colors were mesmerizing. They stepped back, eyes gleaming, and took in their masterpiece. The plate looked like a canvas painted with love and history. "Are we ready?" Lila asked, wiping her brow and looking at the others with hopeful eyes. "Ready as we'll ever be," Maya replied, her voice steady. Reggie felt a surge of pride as he surveyed his team. This was more than just food, it was an expression of who they all were. Together, they slid the plate towards the owner. Everyone held their breath, anticipation palpable in the room. The owner approached, scrutinizing the dish with keen interest. He inspected the layers, his brow furrowing slightly before he took a tentative bite. The silence was deafening. Reggie's pulse raced as they watched the owner's reaction. Would he appreciate the stories behind the flavors? Would he feel the bond they had infused into the dish? As the owner chewed, a flicker of surprise danced across his face, followed by genuine enjoyment. He looked up, eyes sparkling. This is different. Fresh. There's a warmth to it. It speaks volumes. Reggie's heart fluttered. But then, a sudden thought struck him. What if their journey was just beginning? What other challenges would they face on this road to success? As they basked in the impossible glow of hope, Reggie's thoughts drifted. What if they had just opened the door to something much bigger than themselves? Before he could voice it, the owner spoke again, a smile breaking through. "There's something more we need to discuss, something about the future of this kitchen." Reggie's breath hitched. What did that mean? The possibilities unfolded like petals in his mind, each hinting at change, excitement, and trepidation for what lay ahead. The restaurant buzzed with a mixture of excitement and nervous energy as the owner gathered the team together in the dining room. The aroma of their creation still lingered sweetly in the air, bridging the moment between uncertainty and possibility. Reggie stood at the forefront, heart pounding, adrenaline coursing through his veins. He never felt so alive and terrified at the same time. The owner's eyes glimmered with a mix of admiration and contemplation. "What I tasted today was more than just a dish," he began, his voice solemn yet hopeful. "It was a story. Your stories. It reminded me that food is not just about filling stomachs, it's about connecting people." A palpable hush settled over the room, every face leaning forward, eager for what would come next. The owner continued, "I want to invest in this kitchen. I mean really invest, not just in equipment, but in your vision. You all deserve a platform to showcase these stories to the world." Reggie felt his heart leap. The thoughts that had floated through his mind, whispers of hope, were taking shape right in front of him. Lila's jaw dropped, and a soft gasp rippled through the group. When you told your stories with that dish, you showed me the power of passion and community, the owner said. Would you be interested in collaborating on a new menu that tells your histories? Celebrates your cultural roots. Marcus, who had joined Reggie after a long day and watched in awe, beamed. Absolutely. Our stories need to be told. The word seemed to release a floodgate of possibility. Then let us do this together, the owner smiled, a sense of unity enveloping the team. We'll work together on a project that aims to reach beyond these walls, invite more people in, and foster that spirit of family. I believe you all can redefine what this restaurant stands for. Amidst the flurry of eager chatter, Reggie couldn't help but reflect on how far they'd journeyed from that initial clash, a kitchen divided, filled with tension. Now, they were bound together by purpose, excitement sparkling in their eyes like stars beginning to shine. The rhythm of the kitchen picked up again, each member rallying around ambitious ideas. They brainstormed daring dishes, shared dreams of menus that paid homage to their heritages, their families woven into each creation. The atmosphere was electric. Maya's laughter rang out. We'll make a special that showcases unity, a potluck of our flavors. Yes. Lila cheered, dancing around the prep station. Let us make it something that feels like a warm hug. Reggie found himself laughing alongside them, his heart swelling with a warmth that felt different from anything he had known. This wasn't just a night spent grinding in a kitchen anymore, it felt like the start of a beautiful revolution. Soon, they gathered around a table to sketch their ideas. They'd speak for those who often remained unheard, each dish a reflection of struggle, triumph, love. They witnessed firsthand the power of creating a narrative that could change perspectives and inspire connection. Let us make sure each dish comes with a story. A card or a small note highlighting why it matters, Reggie suggested, excitement bubbling over. Yes. Maya and Lila chimed in, and the room erupted in applause. As they poured their souls into the project, they knew the impact of sharing their stories would ripple far beyond the restaurant's walls. Each moment transformed the kitchen from a mere place of work into a sanctuary of growth and collaboration. Later that night, once all the plans were set in motion, the group shared one more meal together, their bond solidified by shared laughter and dreams. Reggie looked around the table, feeling an irreplaceable warmth amongst newfound family, something that tugged at his heart in ways he had never imagined possible. Marcus felt a soft nudge against his leg and looked down to see Sophia, sweet and sleepy, clutching a stuffed animal. He scooped her up, cradling her close, and smiled. This was for her. All of it. From here on out, we're a family, Reggie declared, raising a glass. To stories. To unity, and to the future. To family. They echoed together, their voices ringing in harmony. In that small restaurant, under the glowing lights, they forged a sense of hope that could transform lives outside of their kitchen, and it ignited a fire within Reggie. He finally understood that wealth was not found in dollars, but in connection, community, and the love poured into every plate they served. And so, as the storm finally cleared outside, a new chapter began. A chapter ready to unfold. Join us in celebrating this thrilling journey. You need to subscribe now to not miss the next exclusive stories, or you might just miss out on something amazing. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm, because your support really makes a difference. Comment below with your thoughts and feelings about this inspiring ending. We want to hear from you. And share this video instantly with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Don't wait not even one more second to share. Let us connect hearts and stories.